this is Angela. Thanks for grabbing a seat at the table. You must be interested in 5 signs that you're in a food fight. And I am not talking about a good old Animal House, John Belushi style food fight. Because I think you would know if you were in that kind of a food fight. I'm talking more about an internal kind of a food fight. More like, you know, maybe some foods that don't jive with your system so well. And I don't claim that these are the only signs that you're in a food fight. I'm just saying in my book and in my experience, these are 5 biggies. So let's get to it. All right, the first one was really big for me, food cravings. The 2 biggies, sugar and salt. And as I learned back in the mid-90s when I went through my whole big transformation, I learned from the really wise folks at Bastyr University that kind of much to my horror of horrors, I learned that often what we crave is really what we don't tolerate well. So here, you know, I was craving like bread and, you know, sugar and that was all the things that I was not tolerating, was actually making me gain weight and making me sick and all this stuff. So, you know, very often what you think you're craving and then you put in your body is what's causing you problems. And really what your body needs is something else. So we kind of take it literally, like, oh, I'm craving sugar, I need sugar. Or, oh, I'm craving salt, I need salt. And it's really something else that your body is craving. So it makes me think of, I don't know if any out there are Supernatural fans, but I love that show. And in season 7, the Winchesters have to fight the Leviathan, and like the Leviathan's big plan is to you know, turn humans into cattle for them to eat. And so they create this meat called turducken, which they describe as like the perfect storm of the 3 most edible birds. And so when this meat sits out, it like oozes this black slime, which is like the addictive part that turns humans into like these mindless drones that just eat this food that they constantly crave, and they're like stoned out of their gourds, and they just keep eating it, and they turn into like this mindless cattle. And the black slime, I kind of feel like, is, you know, kind of like a whole ode to our pink slime in our own meat. Fantastic, right? But, you know, it kind of is like our American culture. You know, we just kind of get stoned out of our minds on sugar and salt and all these processed foods, and we just crave them and we keep eating them. And anyway, I think it's a great episode, season 7, you know, so you can check it out for your own viewing pleasure, because I think it says it all. So that's food cravings. All right, let's go to number 2. Oh, I hear this a lot, and I said this myself, so I totally get it. Like, no judgment at all. I can't lose weight. I'm just supposed to be fat. And I said this, and I even had like doctors, you know, saying that to me, and you know, hey, dude, let that be a flag. You know, if you have like practitioners agreeing with you on that, you know, maybe I'm just gonna suggest it's time like jump ship, switch that doctor. Just suggestion, friendly suggestion. So, you know, we think we get stuck, right? And we hit these plateaus, and you know, being stuck with weight can be attributed to many things. I'm not going to try to oversimplify and be like, oh, it's always this, because I'm not saying that it is. But I am going to say that very often it can be tied to foods, and eating foods that cause you to get stuck because your body doesn't like them, and your body doesn't like to digest them, and they cause you to gain weight, or they cause you to be bloated. And sugar and wheat and dairy are really big players in that game, and they love to do it, and they love to cause that frustration. So that's another big flag. Okay, number 3, and this, I hear this one all the time too, and it's related to digestive issues, and I'm going to say the gamut of digestive issues should be a flag, because your digestive system is supposed to be in harmony, like it's supposed to be all good. And I hear people say all the time, like, I'm just constipated, like that's just me, or I'm just gassy, you know, I just always get gas after a meal. And like, you know, dude, that is not supposed to be. I mean, if you're having like jetpack like gases, like clearing the room, and like, you know, people don't want to be around you because you're stinking out the place. I mean, that can't be fun, and that's not how the body is supposed to work. And you know, it just kind of flabbergasts me that that's not a flag to people, like that people think that is normal, or they think they just have to live with that. No, dude, that's a flag. You're just eating something that your body isn't gelling with. And if you remove that food, and sometimes it's permanently and sometimes it's only for a while, but let that be a flag. One time, this is when my husband and I, we were dating. This was a long time ago. And we had gone out to dinner, and he decided he was going to have the prime rib. And spoiler alert, he has not had prime rib since. But I like woke up to this, I mean, suffocating stench. It was like, like the Darth Vader, death grip. It was just, I just couldn't even breathe, It was like, the Anchorman, like Indian food in a diaper. I mean, I can't even describe the smell. It was just so bad. And I just turned into Terminator. I was like, get out. And I just had to force him. I mean, it was so horrid. And so, I mean, we've all been there and we know what that's like, but like, we don't want to return to that. I mean, do we? So digestive issues and imbalances, from diarrhea to constipation to gas to bloating, like, those aren't the norm. So, like, don't fool yourself into thinking they are. You can shift those, and usually just eliminating foods is a really good start. So that's my number 3. Number 4, any kind of chronic conditions very often can be tied to this internal food fight in your body. And by chronic conditions, I mean headaches and migraines. And they don't have to be as serious as migraines. Sometimes just kind of constant headaches, skin rashes, even things like fatigue. People often say like, oh, I always get so sleepy after I eat. And, and food is supposed to give you energy. So if you're getting tired a lot, those kinds of consistent things, if you're feeling a certain way that's not good, very often it can be tied to a food. And again, there's kind of these really, the usual suspects type of thing, these common players in that game that like to rear their heads and that you can kind of look at. And my number 5 that I'm gonna just put on the table here is not necessarily food related, but it's like kitchen related. It's your pantry related. And I'm gonna say that if you mostly have food, like if 80% of your food has expiration dates that are like 6 months to years out, I'm gonna go on a limb here and say you are definitely in some sort of food fight, because food is not supposed to have like these super long shelf lives. I mean, it's supposed to die. If it's giving you nutrients, if it's giving you life force, then it needs to have a life force of its own. So you need to be eating food that isn't just dead. My husband, that's another story. He's gonna think I'm picking on him, but it's only because you're doing so well. Yay, baby! Good job. So, but this is true too, and this is a long time ago. We were like grocery shopping, and he wanted to buy this Pepperidge Farm cinnamon swirl bread, and I was like, don't do it. And he was like, I want it, and I was like, no, you don't. And he was like, yes, I do. And so he bought it, of course. And he took it to work. I was like, well, take it to work, and I don't want to see it. And so when he left work like 2 years later, I guess he hadn't opened it. He never ate it. And so in the back of the desk, he pulls out this loaf of bread, and it hadn't aged. It was like the Dick Clark of breads. I mean, it came out and it was like not moldy. It was like all perfect. Like it was like you could pull it out and like put it back on the shelf. I mean, if it didn't have the expiration date on it, like the suggested date of use, which was still like 18 months out, but like you could put it back on the shelf and someone would be like, "Ooh, look, fresh Pepperidge Farm bread. Doesn't it look fantastic?" And I mean, no one would know the difference. That just boggles my mind. Like, who wants to eat that? And how is there any like sustenance or nutrition in there for your body? And how is that a good thing? And I just want to say, I mean, God bless Dick Clark. I totally believe that we can defy age by eating right and all of the gamut, the exercise and stress relievers and all those things. But as far as I know, food does not have anti-aging capability. Like, it does not have the brain power nor the self-care capacity for that. So I'm going to say that I'm thinking that it has either been injected with crap, or had really important things stripped out from it, you know, to help it achieve that, which would be my problem there. So yeah, so those are my 5 signs that you could be in a food fight. I hope they're helpful. Thanks for grabbing a seat at the table, and hopefully I'll see you soon.